For 11 years, a boy is held captive in a warehouse by a man, and one by one, the people closest to that man start dying, like clockwork, one per year, as if cursed. When the police finally break down the warehouse door to rescue the boy, they find him sitting quietly, reading a book called Principles of Neuroscience. Later, officers count everything inside the warehouse. 437 books in total. Psychology, biology, forensic science, culinary chemistry. No theme, no logic. Just whatever that lunatic happened to see and drag home, tossed into the warehouse without a second glance, most of them never even cracked open. But the boy had read every single one. When police bring the man in for questioning, he loses it completely. "That little mutt is no innocent victim," he screams. "Everything that happened, he did it. The mutt I fed and raised with my own hands." After the man's arrest, the boy is finally taken to a hospital. Severe hearing loss, chronic malnutrition, his body covered in wounds, old scars layered over new ones, several of them infected and festering. Dr. Yoon finishes the examination and looks up. She can't help but sigh. He's so beautiful. He was supposed to have a carefree youth. She picks up a pen and writes carefully on a notepad. "What's your name? Try saying a few words." "My name is Mutt." The boy opens his mouth. The voice that comes out is hoarse and unfamiliar. His expression is completely flat, as if he's simply stating a fact, accurate and unremarkable. He's heard that word for 11 years. It's the only name he remembers. Dr. Yoon goes quiet for a long time. Something twists painfully in her chest. How deep does the trauma have to go for a person to accept a slur as their own name? That man deserves to rot. She forces herself to stay composed and tells him she'll go get him something to eat. The door barely closes before the hallway erupts with noise. Reporters flood the corridor like sharks who've caught the scent of blood, all of them waiting for the show to begin. Dr. Yoon looks at them, her voice sharp as broken glass. "Does someone else's suffering really make you this happy?" Inside the room, the boy hears nothing. His gaze drifts to the patient in the bed across from him. The man notices and strikes up a cheerful conversation. "Heard you were kidnapped? Man, you've had it rough." He trails off, apparently picking up on the hearing issue, and goes back to scrolling on his phone. The boy doesn't respond. He just watches. Open femur fracture. Height approximately 5'7", weight around 130 pounds. Left-handed, rough cracked skin on the hands, long-term manual labor, heavy sweating, no watch, no ring, no jewelry marks whatsoever, disheveled, probably no partner. Manual work, fell from a low height while plastering a wall. Left-handed, the subconscious told the left foot to brace first. The femur couldn't absorb the impact. Fracture, bone exposed. In that situation, the most appropriate first aid response would be, the door opens softly. Dr. Yoon steps in carrying a warm meal, sets up a small tray by the bed, and hands him a spoon. The boy catches the smell. Something he hasn't smelled in a long, long time. The smell of heat. In the summers, the man would send him out to work the fields, sitting in the shade himself, watching with the dead-eyed intensity of someone keeping a dog on a leash. When hunger came, he'd toss over a handful of spoiled leftovers, like feeding livestock, and even that was a rare treat. In winter, when temperatures dropped, even frozen cockroaches became a precious source of calories. But this time, the boy doesn't lunge forward. He watches first. Slight downward tilt at the corners of the eyes, faint crow's feet, zygomatic muscles lifting upward, both corners of the mouth rising symmetrically. He's read about this expression. It's a genuine smile, not performed. This kind of smile requires the zygomatic major muscle and the orbicularis oculi muscle to contract simultaneously. When people fake a smile, they almost never pull it off. She means him no harm. That single conclusion lets his body relax, just a little. He doesn't wait to be asked twice. Like a dog starved to its limit, he starts eating, fast, desperately. The people around him freeze and stare like they're watching something impossible. Dr. Yoon keeps telling him to slow down. He can't hear her, and even if he could, it wouldn't matter. He licks the bowl clean. Every grain of rice stuck to the sides. He picks it off with his fingers, one by one, and puts it in his mouth. Dr. Yoon's eyes go red. She takes a long moment before she can speak again. That afternoon, she gets a call. She walks back into his room and tells him his biological parents are here. Two words slowly surface in his eyes. Mom, Dad. He stares at them like he's been hypnotized for a long, long time. While he waits, he fixes his gaze on the clock on the wall, counting out loud in his head. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then, a sudden explosion of sound inside his skull. Like a floodgate that's been sealed for 11 years, someone has just forced it open. All sound rushes in at once, like a tidal wave crashing into his ears. The ticking of the clock, footsteps in the hallway, someone on a phone call at the end of the corridor. His hearing is back. Inside that lightless warehouse, his ears had been almost useless. Or rather, his brain had done it deliberately. To protect him from completely breaking down, it had cut off the sound. Children, living under chronic pressure and fear, their nervous systems learn to filter the noise, to reduce the devastating weight of information overload. It's a brutal and tender form of self-preservation. And now the wall built over 11 years collapses all at once. A man and a woman stand in the doorway. The moment they see him, their eyes flood red, like they might actually bleed. Before he can react, they stumble forward, arms shaking, and pull him against them, holding on like they're afraid he'll disappear. Both voices explode in his ears at the same moment, like speakers cranked to maximum. Crying, footsteps, the violent thud of heartbeats, all of it tangled together. Too loud. Loud enough to leave his mind completely blank. This boy, forgotten by the entire world, his name is Shin Woo-jin. The day he's discharged, it's Bo-mi's first time meeting the brother she's never known. She sees Woo-jin and stiffens immediately. Stiff like a child who's done something wrong, and quietly says his name. He gives a vague sound in return. His footsteps pause at the doorway, as if he's He's carefully checking something. Dad asks Bo-mi to take him to see his room and get him settled. Bo-mi tries to excuse herself to help with dinner, but Mom doesn't let it slide. The two of them walk side by side into the bedroom. The air solidifies around them. Bo-mi stands near the door, desperately hunting for something to say. Woo-jin stands in the center of the room, scanning everything in silence, still as a statue. Bed, window, computer, chair. This is my room? Bo-mi is still figuring out how to start naturally when she sneaks a glance at him. He's actually really good looking. The thought surfaces before she can stop it. Her face immediately goes warm. I'll teach you how to use the phone, okay? She sits on the edge of the bed and patiently walks him through powering it on, saving contacts. Woo-jin answers in a strange, stilted voice, like words being assembled by a machine. Got it. Bo-mi blinks. That takes her a second. I'm your sister, you don't have to be so formal with me. He takes the phone, presses the power button. The smartphone that this whole generation can't function without slowly lights up. And in the next second, his fingers fly across the screen, tapping, swiping, faster and more fluid than she is. Not even close to how a person touches a phone for the first time. That's definitely not someone who's never used one before. Bo-mi moves on to showing him how to search the internet. Instead, he types 2 words into the search bar himself. Family. The screen fills with images. Grandparents holding children, parents sitting side by side, a whole family laughing around a dinner table. Mom, Dad. He slowly turns to look at Bo-mi beside him. Bo-mi, my sister. Family. Bo-mi's eyes go red instantly. Yeah, she says. Family. Then a scent drifts into Woo-jin's nose. Strange. Something he's never smelled before. Perfume? Like branches burning, full of fragrance. Like something from ancient times. Before Bo-mi can react, he's already walking toward it, completely spellbound. The smell leads to the kitchen. Mom and Dad have prepared a full feast to celebrate his return. His eyes go wide with disbelief. All of this is food? His parents see him and immediately wave him over, eyes full of warmth. They have no idea that what sits before him isn't just a dinner table. It's the greatest meal he's eaten in 11 years. Meanwhile, across town, in a cold interrogation room, the man who destroyed his 11 years sits under questioning. Starting 5 years ago, the people around him had been dying off, 1 per year, under mysterious circumstances. His wife, his mother, his sister-in-law, 2 close neighbors from the village. Every single death traced back to him in some way. Suddenly the man slams to his feet like he's lost his mind, eyes bulging, veins popping at his neck. It was that little bastard, the one I raised, fed and clothed with my own hands. What the police can never imagine is that all these seemingly unconnected deaths have one thing in common. That man's reading list was just a little too comprehensive. After dinner, Woo-jin sits alone on his bed, staring hard at his phone. 11 years without speaking. His tongue feels like a block of wood, sounds coming out blurred and muffled, like chewing wet cotton. But he finds a way. He pulls up a video on YouTube and reads along word by word. Ha! Hello! To everyone watching at home. Home, family, family. He plays it back over and over, reads it again. 1 time, 2 times, a dozen times without stopping. Then, 2 soft knocks at the door. Bo-mi pokes her head in, grinning. Does he want ice cream? The answer is obviously yes. The refrigerated cabinet at the convenience store swings open and a wave of cold air rolls out. Woo-jin goes completely still in front of it, not moving an inch. Strawberry, matcha, chocolate, milk. His eyes can't keep up. This might be the most extravagant thing he's ever seen in his life. Bo-mi waits nearly 3 full minutes. Then she reaches in, grabs a cone and shoves it into his hand. This one's the best. Let's go. Outside, a group of girls sits by the sidewalk. One nudges another. That guy is so cute. Should we go ask for his number? The second one hesitates, says it's too embarrassing. The third one assumes Bo-mi is his girlfriend, her voice full of envy. But Woo-jin's entire universe is this small ice cream cone. He takes a huge bite. Cold, sweet. It spreads through his mouth slowly, like something melting into every corner. His eyes, which have been so flat for so long, gradually light up, brighter and brighter, like 2 stars being switched on for the first time. Good. So good. So good he forgets to walk. He stops in the middle of the sidewalk and goes in for another lick, completely absorbed. Bo-mi swallows a laugh and pushes him forward. She looks down and quietly texts her friend, getting ice cream with my brother on the way home. Woo-jin's footsteps suddenly stop. His gaze locks onto something at the side of the road. A man, standing completely still, staring at Bo-mi with an intensity that doesn't belong to a stranger. Like a hyena half mad with hunger. Woo-jin's eyes go quiet, hat brim, heavily worn, brow furrowed, pupils dilated. Nobody in the family noticed this face when they passed earlier today. Not a local. Large sweat stain under the armpit, soles of his shoes, wide pressure marks from a motorcycle footrest, mud on the sides of his shoes from up in the hills. But the road here is completely dry. He came down from the mountains. The conclusion forms in his mind fast as flipping a page. He calls out to Bo-mi, tells her to go on ahead. Bo-mi says it's getting late, and he shouldn't walk alone. She loops her arm through his and pulls him home. 12:30 in the morning. Every streetlight is dark. Woo-jin still hasn't slept. He stands at the window, watching the man below, still circling, still there, like a dog that refuses to give up. Inside his head, another voice speaks, something that grew out of 11 years of darkness, born from despair and fear. An alternate version of him with a completely different operating system. Colder, faster, with no concern for consequences. The same books, completely different conclusions. Fear and dread are its food. Every time Woo-jin wavers, it steps in, but things are different now. Woo-jin has learned to control it. This thing is a beast with fangs, but used right, it pushes every piece of knowledge to its absolute limit. Tonight, come out. Fine. He steps into the rain without an umbrella. The man sees him and turns to leave. Woo-jin stops walking. Rain is a gift from from nature. Masked sound hides tracks. You thought this through pretty well. The man freezes. What are you talking about? You're seriously asking me that? How dull. Excuse me, do I know you? Do you know me? I know you pretty well. You had noodles for lunch. Delivery rider, motorcycle, crossing that hill every single day just to hang around our building. And your sleeve, there's cat fur on it. Practicing on a stray cat first. Getting some warm-up in, were we? Who are you? Woo-jin brushes his rain-soaked hair back and smiles. Just slightly. One step forward, one kick. The man crashes to the ground, water splashing up around him. Play with me for a bit. The way you played with that cat. Woo-jin pulls open his collar. Scars cross his skin in every direction. Old ones buried under new ones, jagged and raw, like centipedes crawling across his body. From the man's throat comes a broken, nearly begging sound. Don't come any closer. Stay away from us. One step closer, and I'll carve these same marks into you, one by one. Now get out of my sight. The man scrambles away on all fours, stumbling and crashing into the dark rain until he's gone, like a worm crushed underfoot. Woo-jin tilts his head back. Rain hits his face. He lets out a long, slow breath, like he's finally taken out a piece of garbage that's been rotting for way too long. His whole body feels lighter. After that night, life shifts, like someone changed the channel from hell to something entirely different. Day 1, the whole family sits around a table and eats hot Korean barbecue together. Day 2, mom takes him shopping and buys him a whole new outfit. Day 3, he and Bo-mi go see a comedy film, the first one he's ever watched. He laughs, genuinely laughs. Day 4, Bo-mi shows up with a thick stack of test papers, looking suspiciously pleased with herself. Let's test some basic science, see where you're at. Woo-jin glances at the first question, picks up his pen and starts writing immediately, no hesitation. Bo-mi grabs his hand, half laughing, half frustrated. At least finish reading the question before you answer. He looks at her, completely serious. I already finished. She blinks, takes his answer sheet and checks it. Every single answer is correct. She slides over another stack. Not convinced. He opens it, keeps writing. The pen barely pauses. When she finishes grading, she sets the papers down and stares at him for a long time. Are you a genius? No. I just want to be a normal person. Woo-jin's eyes drift to a childhood photo of Bo-mi on the desk beside him. His mind goes somewhere else. The warehouse was dark. The man hit him whenever he felt like it. When he wasn't hitting him, there was always more work to do. The only escape was those books, reading them over and over until everything around him disappeared and only the words were left. A sound pulls him back. Bo-mi is crying. Her eyes say it clearly. Grief. Woo-jin reaches out and gently pats her on the head. His hand is clumsy and careful at the same time, like he's afraid of breaking something. He turns, finds paper and a pen, writes quickly and hands it to her. She reads it. Her expression shifts into something like shock. Bo-mi, don't be sad. When body temperature drops, so does the immune system. Grief also affects the tongue and can lead to weight gain or trigger cardiovascular issues. It causes cortisol levels to rise, increasing stress and disrupting sleep. Grief activates the hippocampus, forcing the brain to burn more energy, which is why it makes you feel so exhausted. It also lowers serotonin levels, which can lead to depression or obsessive-compulsive symptoms. Woo-jin, how do you know all of this? I used to read a lot of books. From outside, mom calls him for dinner. Woo-jin is already gone, moving like a breeze down the hallway toward the dining room. That evening, Woo-jin lies on his bed scrolling through his phone. Food content, just killing time. His thumb keeps moving, but gradually something pulls his attention in. Then he stops. A massive pot of bright red spicy broth fills the screen. The streamer on the thumbnail is smiling. The title reads, Insane Spice Level, Painful and Delicious. He taps it without hesitation. The streamer laughs into the camera, pats the enormous bowl in front of her, announces it's 10 servings worth. Then she starts eating. He watches closely. She bites into a wide rice noodle. Both shoulders draw inward. She inhales and says it's the hottest level, painful and delicious. Something about this is off. She picks up a piece of corn cake, keeps talking about how incredible the texture is. Her chopsticks trace a slow arc through the bowl. He's completely hooked now. He opens her profile page, scrubbing through her videos at high speed. Every clip, every segment, like he's searching for something specific. Past the point of casual interest, fully absorbed. After a while, he stops and stares at the ceiling. Her face is still playing in his mind. He remembers what Dad asked at dinner, what he wants to do with his life. He said he wants to be ordinary, find a regular job. Mom and Dad smiled and said whatever he chooses, they'll support him. The next morning, he makes a decision. Ordinary people do ordinary things, like filing a police report. That's about as ordinary as it gets. Inside the precinct, a detective has a punk kid with bleached hair pinned down in an interrogation room. The kid's face is red, insisting over and over he didn't do anything. Both of them going back and forth, voices getting louder by the second. Woo-jin stands in the doorway and watches quietly. Captain turns around, blinks, then breaks into a wide grin. You look so different, I almost didn't recognize you. Woo-jin thinks back to the first time he met this man. He was curled up in the back of a police car, shaking, barely able to move. Captain reached across him and buckled his seatbelt, told him softly he was going home. Woo-jin gives a small nod, his voice drops slightly. Thanks to you, I'm doing well now. Captain waves the nearby officer over and tells him to hold the punk in custody. They all act the same, deny everything to their face. Standard playbook. Then he turns to Woo-jin. What brings you in? I have something to show you. Woo-jin pulls up the food stream. He begins walking Captain through it frame by frame. Her pupils shift to the upper right. That means she's lying. Her finger presses against her lips, a sign of anxiety or unease. She's also lightly biting her lower lip, another classic involuntary response to stress. She keeps saying the food tastes amazing, but her eyes say the opposite. That kind of contradiction doesn't happen by accident. Every time she eats, both shoulders pull inward. When a person feels threatened or under attack, the brain's limbic system triggers a protective response. The body tries to make itself smaller. Now watch her eyes drift left. That means she's recalling something real. Not a lie, not a fantasy. But she immediately covers her mouth with her hand. Covering the mouth is an instinct to hide something, whether consciously or not. And here, while she's boiling water, she keeps touching her necklace. Repeatedly. That's what people do when they're under pressure and looking for psychological comfort. Captain stares at him with a completely lost expression. Woo-jin cuts to it. This streamer is sending a distress signal to the outside world. SOS. Based on her micro-expressions and all of her involuntary movements, this is not a coincidence. She's being held captive, just like I was. Captain pushes back. That's a big claim to make from just a video. Woo-jin continues. She's around 20 years old. Either she has no family, or she grew up in a situation bad enough that no one would come looking. High chance she never finished middle school. The person, or people holding her, are probably around the same age as her. Multiple suspects. You're saying she's being held captive? Do you know her? No. A pause. But, I was held captive for a long time. I know exactly what that state looks like. He holds Captain's gaze. Do you believe that enough coincidences stacked on top of each other stop being coincidences? Your shirt. Your mom bought that for you. First coincidence. That kid with the bleached hair out there, he plays violin. Second, Captain gives him a look. You want to be a profiler or something? That why you're doing all this? No, I want to be an ordinary office worker. I came here to file a report. The analysis was just to convince you. Ask the punk what his hobby is if you want to check. And if I'm wrong, feel free to charge me with obstruction of justice. Captain waves him off. No need for that, I'll just ask. He turns and heads down toward the holding cell. Halfway there, he can't help thinking, what is he even doing right now? But he has to admit, that kid speaks with unusual clarity, and he still can't figure out how Woo-jin knew his shirt was a gift from his mother. He stops in front of the punk. You play violin? The punk's jaw drops. How did you know that? Captain stands there, completely thrown. The punk starts yelling, you already searched my apartment, so you know I didn't do anything. Captain ignores the noise. His mind is somewhere else entirely. Does that kid have some kind of special ability? The truth is, from the moment Woo-jin walked into the precinct, he'd already made his observations. Calluses on the fingertips, positioned at specific points, a faint pressure mark on the left ring finger, occasional violin player, and the kid's body language, his micro-expressions, no signs of deception, probably not the actual culprit. About 5 minutes later, Captain pushes back through the door. Woo-jin is gone. On the table, there's a note. 2 coincidences stacked in what I told you. Her situation is urgent. My number is below. Captain stares at it for a moment. Then he calls his team and tells them to look into the streamer. Across the city, Woo-jin waits at a bus stop. Mom had gotten him a transit card and walked him through how to use it. He taps it at the reader, finds a window seat, and sits down. Last week when Uncle came over for dinner, he'd agreed to let Woo-jin come see the company. Today is that day. Uncle works at SH Mythos Group. The building is tall enough to make your neck hurt looking up at it. Woo-jin watches the flow of people coming and going through the lobby, all of them ordinary office workers. That's exactly the kind of life he wants. Uncle leads him inside. A girl in a high school uniform spots Uncle and greets him. Casual, almost bored, looking down at Woo-jin like he's something slightly beneath her notice. Both of them speak at the same time. Are you in high school? The girl stares at him, unimpressed. I'm literally wearing the uniform. How is that not obvious? The elevator opens. Uncle steers Woo-jin in and says a quick goodbye to the girl. 7th floor, a packed office floor, someone taking a call in English, someone else locked onto their computer, everyone moving with purpose. Uncle immediately gets pulled aside by a staff member. Emergency meeting. He apologizes and tells Woo-jin to grab lunch in the company cafeteria on his own. Downstairs, the girl in uniform steps out of the same elevator. She sees Woo-jin. He sees her. A high schooler has no reason to be here during school hours. She spoke to Uncle, a clearly senior employee without a trace of nerves. Her posture carries authority. She deliberately stepped into his path. She moves like she owns this building. Cross-reference, she's most likely a top executive's daughter, someone very high up. In that case, building a connection with her could be useful. Just needs the right approach. Woo-jin gives a non-committal sound and walks around her. She calls after him, asks if he's skipping school. Woo-jin tells her flatly that he doesn't go to school and keeps walking. She calls out again, annoyed that he keeps cutting her off. Woo-jin turns. His voice is unhurried. I don't like wasting time on things that don't benefit me. Like this conversation. A pause. Talking to you doesn't seem to offer any benefit. Please don't speak to me again. He knows exactly what he's doing. When someone feels their value has been dismissed, they'll fight to prove themselves. He says it deliberately, to make her show her hand. She takes the bait immediately. Her chin goes up, voice dripping with superiority. I'm the daughter of this company's CEO. Woo-jin knows the right response. He lets his eyes go slightly wide, lips part just a fraction, performing mild surprise. Then schools his expression back to neutral. Is that so? Her satisfaction is almost visible. She informs him, nose in the air, that now he should understand she's not like other people. And with that established, her restraint drops entirely. She fixes him with a frank, invasive stare, scanning him from head to toe, cataloging every detail, with a flicker of something like contempt crossing her face. But she adjusts quickly, and underneath the composure, her eyes are lit with barely contained excitement. She tells him he's coming with her. They're going to hang out. Woo-jin watches her expression. The corner of his mouth carries the faintest trace of amusement. He can see exactly what's in her eyes. She looks at him and sees a toy, something to play with and discard when she's bored. How convenient, because he can use that greed, flip it around, and turn her into a puppet on a string. She tells him he's coming with her. They're going to hang out. No room for argument. Looking at her, Woo-jin thinks, this girl is on a fast track to either antisocial personality disorder or full-blown narcissism. She says she knows a place. Amazing food. Then she stands up and walks. No address, no explanation. In her world, everyone just follows. That's how it works. Sure enough, she leads Woo-jin straight to the restaurant. They sit. She crosses her legs, tilts her head, and asks if he's a K-pop trainee. Too good looking not to be. Woo-jin tells her he's studying for a licensing exam, then turns it around. Why isn't she in school right now? Her eyes flicker. She says it's that time of the month. Cramps. Woo-jin catches it immediately. A quick glance to the left, then her hand moves to tuck hair behind her ear. Classic tells. He says it plainly. What she's describing is just the uterine lining shedding under hormonal influence. A normal biological process. Her face goes red, like she just got slapped in front of everyone. Lucky for her, the server shows up right on time and cuts the tension. She snaps back instantly, orders fast, doesn't ask Woo-jin what he wants. Not even a glance. The need to control is basically written on her forehead. She's been giving orders her whole life. A beat of silence. Then, like she just remembered, she asks his name. He tells her. She nods, that natural arrogance still sitting in her voice. Not bad. Then she gives hers. Lee Hai-rim. Same tone, same energy, like she's doing him a favor. Silence again. You're boring, she says. The words barely land before the server reappears. Quiet steps, sudden arrival. Hai-rim flinches. The server apologizes immediately, practically bows, clearly used to handling a princess. She waves it off, but her expression says otherwise. She turns to Woo-jin, tries a different topic. Casual, light. He doesn't bite, so she circles back to the first one, covering something she doesn't want him to see. He watches her reach up to redo her hair, movements too sharp, too fast. She's fraying at the edges, then the hair tie slips, hits the floor with a soft snap. She bends to pick it up, still complaining. Nothing is going right today, honestly. Woo-jin quietly reaches out and steadies the corner of the table. She looks up. What are you doing? Didn't want you to hit your head. The color rises in her cheeks. Just for a second, she loses her footing. Woo-jin follows through, asks if something's bothering her. She doesn't seem like herself. She pushes back immediately. Who is he? Why does he care? He's nobody to her. Woo-jin lets it go, picks up his spoon, takes a sip of broth. She watches him. Then, almost urgently, how is it? She leans in, says the soup here is just as good as Restaurant K back in City F. Maybe better. Woo-jin files that away. She drops bait like this on purpose. Follow the thread, and the distance closes itself. He plays curious. Restaurant K? Who'd she go with? Her whole energy shifts. She went with someone she knows. A famous actress. Woo-jin knows exactly what to do with this. He needs to pull her back into a happy memory. Get her to relive it. Let the feeling take over. That's how you close the gap. When people revisit good memories, the brain releases dopamine and norepinephrine. They don't just remember the moment, they re-experience it. The body can't tell the difference. Hai-rim talks faster now. Fireworks over the water, a view like a painting. She's lit up from the inside, the earlier awkwardness completely gone. The brain doesn't distinguish between the real and the imagined, just like thinking about a lemon makes your mouth water. Right now, she's not sitting at this table. She's back on that yacht, watching the sky explode with light. All it takes is a few good questions and the patience to listen. He becomes the person who makes her feel good. It's almost too easy. She's still going when the server brings the main course. Woo-jin sees the meat and doesn't hesitate. Chops first, straight in. Cut it first, she says. You'll choke. The arrogance is gone. She just sounds like she's looking out for him. She asks if he doesn't travel much. He admits it. The dessert arrives. She points at the shaved ice immediately. You have to go to Havos Island sometime. Her eyes go distant, soft. She describes it like a dream. Gorgeous coastline. Stars at night that look like the northern lights. Waves that shimmer when they break. The kind of place that just fixes something in you. Woo-jin decides, any more of this and it loses its effect. He stands. I should get back to studying. She stares at him. That's so sudden. He reminds her. He mentioned the licensing exam earlier. He says goodbye and turns to leave. She jumps up, blocks him, says she needs his number. He doesn't move. She shifts tactics, tells him she'd actually be useful. Great hotels, hidden restaurants, no wasted trips. Woo-jin understands exactly what's happening. She's not chasing a phone number. She's chasing the feeling, the warmth, the ease, the hormones. From everything he's seen, she's been starved of real connection, probably distant from her family. That hunger is something he can work with. Everything she knows, everywhere she's been, it all becomes useful to him. She takes his phone, types in her number, hands it back. Today was good, he says, flat and easy. She blinks, lets out a small sound, doesn't stop him again. She watches his back as he walks away, reaches up, pulls out her hair tie, runs a hand through her hair. Then she follows him out of the restaurant, calling after him that she'll walk with him. That's when Woo-jin catches something in the corner of his eye, in broad daylight. Someone is committing a crime. Hai-rim catches up, starts to ask. Woo-jin pushes her aside, tells her to look away. He tells her someone's been stabbed over there, bleeding badly. She screams. The attacker spins around and runs. Woo-jin locks onto him. Every detail, height, build, clothing, movement, all of it logs instantly. He runs toward the victim, pulls out his phone and dials emergency services. He reaches the man and drops to his knees, presses his hands over the wound. Blood seeps between his fingers, warm and immediate. The call connects. Woo-jin speaks fast. A man has been stabbed. Condition critical. Send an ambulance now. He gives the address, tells them to dispatch police as well. He checks the pulse, racing. The brainstem has already registered the blood loss and is pushing the heart to compensate. That's not a good sign. He leans in, asks the man's blood type. Weak voice. Type B. Abdominal stab wound. Internal bleeding. Woo-jin makes the call. The man needs a transfusion right now or he won't hold on. He relays the blood type into the phone, pushes them to move faster. Under his hand, hands, the blood keeps coming, slow and steady and warm. Woo-jin thinks it really shouldn't be this hard, just to live a normal life. He glances back at Hi-Rim. She's frozen, trembling, white as paper. He catches her eye and gestures, go further back. He's got this. A few minutes pass. Then the ambulance wail growing closer. The ambulance arrives. So does a patrol car almost at the same moment. Woo-jin stands, steps aside, pulls out a tissue and cleans his hands. An officer approaches, asks him to describe the suspect. Woo-jin starts. The officer cuts him off halfway through, tells him he's got a good memory, asks him to start over so he can record it. Woo-jin goes through it again, start to finish. The officer takes his contact information, says they may need him later. He turns it over in his mind. This is the first time Hi-Rim has ever been up close to something like this. The blood, the chaos, the pure shock of it. That kind of moment breaks open a person. Their defenses drop, and this is exactly the opening he needs. The first time someone faces something this extreme, they shake like a child learning to walk, lost, desperate for something solid to hold on to. The more extreme the trigger, the deeper the need. Some people never recover from scenes like this, others just go blank. But right now, Woo-jin is here, and he can be exactly what she needs. The steady presence, the one that made her feel safe. No one else gets to fill that role tonight. He walks over to her, puts a hand on her shoulder, gentle. It's okay, he says. You're safe. He knows this moment is going to embed itself in her memory permanently. Every time she revisits it, his face will be there, his hand on her shoulder, his voice. He tells her what she needs to hear. The attacker didn't get a good look at them. There are cameras everywhere. The police will make an arrest soon. Afterward, he walks her all the way to her neighborhood, waits until she's inside the gate before he leaves. Hi-Rim's house is always quiet. She goes to her room, turns on the shower, lets the warm water run, but it doesn't wash anything away. Woo-jin keeps appearing in her mind. The calm way he took control, the way he kept her out of it, the way he spoke to her after, all of it stays. She thinks about how he stepped in front of her, how steady he sounded. Something in her chest relaxes, just a little. The corner of her mouth lifts. In that moment of chaos, he was the only thing that felt solid. The fear starts to drain. Something else moves in to replace it. Something she can't quite name yet. She steps out of the bathroom, walks to the dressing room, sits in front of the mirror. A thought rises to the surface, clearer than anything else. She needs to contact Woo-jin, right now. Woo-jin is sitting on his bed watching a food stream on his phone. He's studying the host's word choices. Absolutely insane. Oh my god, this is so good. The near hysterical enthusiasm makes everything on screen look like the best thing ever made. He makes a mental note. Try all of it. Eventually, his phone buzzes. Hi-Rim, asking if he got home safe. He types back a quick reply, keeps it short. Then he goes back to the food stream. Next morning, the whole family sits down for breakfast. Mom made everything from scratch. It's warm and it's good. Bomi heads to school. Mom and Dad head to work. The house goes quiet. Woo-jin goes back to his room, pulls out practice tests and workbooks and gets to work. Hours pass. He doesn't notice until he looks up and realizes the stack of completed books beside him. He glances at his phone. Hi-Rim has been texting non-stop. He looks out the window. Sunlight through clouds, calm and ordinary. His phone rings. A woman's voice, sharp and professional. She's calling from a financial institution. Does he need a loan? A scam call. I need 100 billion, he says. Can you do that? The line goes dead. His phone rings again. Police. They've caught the suspect. They need him to come in and give a statement. He hangs up, walks to the entryway. He looks out at the empty apartment and speaks quietly to no one. I'm heading out. Nobody's home to hear him. Nobody's been waiting up for a long time now. The police station is close. He walks fast and gets there quickly. In the holding room, the suspect is loud, still arguing. Woo-jin watches him, the lip biting, fingers working near the mouth, a hard swallow. The officer next to Woo-jin turns. What do you think? He's lying. When people lie, the body releases catecholamines. Blood pressure spikes around the nose and eyes. Touching the face is an involuntary response to relieve the pressure. Biting the lip, rubbing near the mouth, instinctive attempts to hide panic. When cornered, people default to one of three responses: freeze, flee, or fight. His legs are crossed and pulled inward. He chose freeze. Aggressive words, defensive body. What's his education level? The officer blinks. Master's degree. Higher education means he trusts evidence. If he did this, his biggest fear right now is proof. DNA, surveillance, eyewitnesses. Tell him there's a witness who saw everything. You're sure it's him? Woo-jin nods. No hesitation. Thanks, the officer says, walking him out. He thinks for a moment, then goes back in. There's a witness. They got a clear look at you. The suspect's face collapses. The performance falls apart. Once the wall breaks, the rest comes out fast. Woo-jin steps out of the police station, looks at the street, the passing cars, the buildings above. He remembers that food streamer. She filmed somewhere near here. He wonders. Jae Jangmyeon from a place next to a police station. Is that insanely good? Would he say absolutely insane? He pulls out his phone and texts Hi-Rim. They caught him. You can relax. Hi-Rim is in class when it comes through. The girls around her are talking. She ignores all of them. Types immediately. Why are you only telling me now? I left your messages on read. Woo-jin replies. Doesn't everyone do that? Hi-Rim puts her hand over her face. You're unbelievable. Woo-jin tells her he's on his way to take on a challenge. Says she should come. Having her there might help. She shows up at the restaurant not long after. The bowl in front of them is enormous. The owner explains the rules. Finish everything in 20 minutes or pay a penalty fee. Woo-jin runs the math. The stomach isn't a fixed container. Short-term high-volume eating can expand capacity temporarily. The key variable is leptin release. Ready? Woo-jin nods. The owner hits the timer. He picks up his chopsticks, winds up a massive tangle of noodles, and inhales it. Hi-Rim stares. That's going to destroy your stomach. He doesn't stop. He picks up the bowl, tips the remaining broth directly in. The timer still has time left. The bowl is empty. The owner can't speak for a moment. Challenge complete. Hi-Rim squints at him. Are you trying to become a food streamer? That would make me anything but ordinary. After they eat, Woo-jin says they're going for coffee. Isn't this what normal people do? Dinner then coffee? How big is your stomach actually? Watch fewer food streams. Evening. Her driver pulls up. She waves Woo-jin over. He says his place is close. He'll walk off the meal. See you next time. She gets in. Through the window she watches him until he disappears. Home. Woo-jin pulls up another food stream. His phone rings. Captain's voice. That streamer you flagged. You were right about all of it. The victim was a young student. The stream was forced. It was a whole operation. Runaways. Families had already stopped looking. How did you know? Is it some kind of ability? Anyway, dinner's on me, as a thank you. Does it involve meat? Of course. Then I want grade AA, cut number 9 chuck tender. A pause. Fine. Saturday. On the way there, Woo-jin wonders, can any cut of beef really live up to the title of greatest thing you've ever eaten? Two strangers step into his path, a man and a woman. They tell him they can just tell. He's a blessed person. They study the laws governing all things. Is that a science? Like physics or chemistry? They fumble. Say it's more like philosophy. You only truly see something once you understand it. Your ancestors are sitting on your shoulders right now. They're the reason you're so sharp, but it seems like you haven't been honoring them properly. You can see spirits? These ancestor entities, they're non-organic. What channel do they use to receive information? The eye processes visual input through the macula and the blind spot, then sends it through the optic nerve to the brain. Do you have a specialized organ for this? Some kind of mutation? A sensitivity to a different wavelength? They start backing away. The woman says she left something on the stove at home. Woo-jin feels like he's being avoided. I'm not dangerous, I promise. He can see her pulling back, recognizes the anxiety. Do I really seem that scary? Come on, tell me more about the ancestors. They're gone. A man walks up laughing. Says he's a content creator. He films social issues and scams. These con artists are everywhere lately. I put them on blast. He grins. I've never seen anyone dismantle them like that. You completely wrecked their whole script. Can I upload the footage? More people should see this. No, that would make me the opposite of ordinary. We can blur your face. Change your voice. Nobody would recognize you. I'll give you 500,000 won. 1 million. Woo-jin turns around, reads out his bank account number. That was fast. After the transfer clears, Woo-jin heads straight to the restaurant. Captain is already waiting. He looks at the menu. His hand trembles slightly when he finds the price. He breathes in. Let's start with 3 portions. You really came through on this one. If it had gone any later, that girl wouldn't have made it. How have you been? Good. Working on the ordinary life thing. You're anything but ordinary. The server brings the chuck tender to the grill. They both go quiet, just staring at the meat. 2 tears run down Woo-jin's face. The server rotates a piece and says, first bite, just salt, nothing else. Woo-jin picks up a slice, dips it, barely, puts it in his mouth. Tender, bouncy, the kind of thing that makes time stop for a second. So this is what insanely good means. Slow down, you'll bite your tongue. Captain takes a piece, chews twice. His eyes go wide. Focus or I'm finishing the rest. They eat until they can't move. Then they each go home completely satisfied. After that, Woo-jin locks in. Study hall on weekdays, practice tests at home on weekends, helping Bo-mi with homework when he has a moment, the occasional family outing. When he meets up with Hai Rim, they're either at the library or both studying in silence. That's enough. Then exam day arrives. Woo-jin walks into the testing center, finds his room, gets settled. The proctor hands out the papers. He looks at the questions, takes a slow breath. He walks out of the exam hall and stops. He just realized something he can't take back. Mom and Dad always said it. Grades don't matter. Just be healthy. Just be okay. That thought lands somewhere tender. All that work. What was the point? How was he supposed to walk through that door? He drags himself home. Bo-mi is right there when he walks in. How'd it go? She reads his face immediately. Wait, did he actually fail? No, impossible. Absolutely not. Did something else happen? He stares at the floor, voice flat. I think I trusted myself too much. It's okay. There's always next time. He makes a sound, goes to his room, sets down his bag. His phone buzzes. Hai Rim again. He looks at the screen for a few seconds, doesn't reply, just regret. He drifts back out of his room. No energy, no direction. In Bo-mi's mind, her brother is strange, yes, but he's sharp, and he lights up a room. Mom calls. She and Dad are at the supermarket. Bo-mi drops her voice. Woo-jin seems like he bombed the exam. He's really down. Dad hears. Says it's just a test. Failure is normal. Don't let him spiral. We picked up your favorites. Almost home. Bo-mi hangs up. Woo-jin walks out of the bathroom at the same moment. He sighs. I'm not ordinary at all. I think I got every single question right. I should have gotten some wrong on purpose. Bo-mi stares at him. So you're upset because you aced it? Because that makes you not ordinary enough? He rubs his chin, muttering. Maybe I overpracticed. These questions felt like eating. My hands just answered them automatically. I couldn't stop myself. He looks down at his hands. These things just do everything perfectly. I can't control it. Bo-mi's jaw drops. Never say that outside this apartment. Someone will end you. Woo-jin nods, still very much stuck on not being ordinary enough. Bo-mi says they should check the official answer key. Maybe he slipped on something. Does he remember what he wrote? Of course he does. He wrote it, didn't he? Bo-mi opens her laptop, gets to the testing board's website. Go ahead. Woo-jin decides one question at a time is inefficient. He recites every answer for every subject. Steady pace, all at once, all correct. Bo-mi checks again. Any wrong? Silence. None. She drags him back to check the remaining subjects. Woo-jin quietly hopes for at least one one mistake. Just one. It would mean something. Bo-mi looks up. The rest, also perfect. She pats his shoulder. Stop chasing ordinary, he murmurs to himself. Why is a normal life this hard to have? Mom and dad are going to lose their minds. You look at everything from some other dimension. It's genuinely strange. Impressive enough to make me angry and annoying at the same time. The door opens. Bo-mi sprints over. Breaking news. Woo-jin got a perfect score! Mom blinks. Didn't you just say he bombed it? We check the official answers. Perfect score across the board. Dad drops everything. You're serious? I always wondered who you took after. Now I know. Me. Mom. He takes after me. You have nothing to do with this. Dad is already on the phone, not listening. Let's all go out tomorrow. My treat. He shoots Woo-jin a proud, unbearable grin. Woo-jin watches his dad basically vibrate with excitement. He doesn't know what to do with his face. Dad hangs up and immediately starts mapping out Woo-jin's entire future. Surgeon, saving lives, prosecutor, delivering justice, lawyer, earning on merit, appraiser, tax accountant, legal consultant, stable, respected, secure. Mom cuts in. Don't pressure him. She looks at Woo-jin. You do what you want. Whatever university you choose, we'll support it. I just want a normal university. Everyone in the room reacts at once. Dad recovers first. Right. So, you want to live like a normal person? He nods slowly. What do you want to study? Woo-jin shakes his head. Haven't thought about it. He goes back to his room, opens his phone, types in all the careers Dad mentioned, legal consultant, tax accountant, architect, prosecutor. He scrolls through each one and something starts to take shape, a pattern underneath all of them. Every single one runs on the same underlying logic. Law. It's all law, like a fixed algorithm sitting at the bottom of everything. He looks up where the most recognized people in each field went to school. Most of them, S University. So S University is basically the standard, the baseline, the ordinary option. He opens the door. I've decided. I'm going to S University. Normal school. Normal life. Nothing more. Is S University really that normal? Dad slaps his knee. Exactly right. S University is perfect. Very normal. Summer before college, Woo-jin makes a decision. He's going to visit the man. He packs light and gets on a train. Once it starts moving, he tries something he's seen on the food streams, cracks a hard-boiled egg against his forehead, peels it, takes a bite, chases it with a drink. He understands now why everyone does this. The richness of the egg, the clean hit of the drink after. It works. Hours later, the train arrives. He switches to a bus heading toward the facility. The bus winds through turns and rough road. Eventually it stops. He checks in. A guard walks him down. He reaches the visitation room, sits down, eyes on the door across from him. The man's face rises in his memory automatically. The way he used to look, the size of him, the unpredictability. Woo-jin came a long way for one thing, one confirmation. The door opens. The man walks in wearing a blue prison uniform. Thinner now. The swagger is gone. What's left is just tired. What do you want? He pauses, then brings up the hearing loss, the sneer still there, even worn down. You were always sharp. You can read lips, can't you? He insists. Someone got to his family. His eyes say it's Woo-jin. His mouth says things that aren't worth repeating. But standing here now, looking at him, Woo-jin feels nothing. No weight in his chest, no cold in his spine. He checks quietly, confirms it to himself. It's gone. All of it. Now you're the one who's afraid of me, the man mutters. All of them deserved what happened to them. My sister-in-law had no interest in herbs. There's no way she ate something by accident. Your sister-in-law, Woo-jin says calmly, was one of the people who used to hit me with the flail. That uniform suits you. The man's pupils contract. He can't process it. He can speak. He can hear. Over the past few years, your family members died one by one. Heart failure. Poisoning. People only see what they want to see. They believe what they need to believe, including the idea that their suspicions must be right. Your two friends, the ones who made a habit of coming after me, they're gone too. Heart failure, both of them. Every hair on the man's body stands up. The color drains from his face. Something inside him hits a ceiling. The fear reaches maximum. The heart accelerates. Breathing goes shallow. One more push, and the heart might just give out. Woo-jin tells the man he should carve his release date somewhere on his body, just so he doesn't forget to come pick him up. The man's voice trembles. He says Woo-jin is threatening him. I'm just worried about your health. So you've been keeping yourself busy writing a memoir. The man's fear spikes. He demands to know how Woo-jin even knows about that. Woo-jin doesn't answer. Instead, in a calm, almost gentle tone, he reminds the man, don't forget to include him in it. He's already passed some money along to make sure the officers treat the man well. Not much, but enough to get by in there. Every bit of it was deliberate, designed to make sure the man never stops thinking about him, that for the rest of his life he can never shake free of Woo-jin's shadow. The man shakes so hard he collapses to the floor. Watching him like that, honestly, it's boring. And yet, somehow Woo-jin finds himself a little curious about what happens next. The visit ends. Woo-jin rises and leaves the prison, heading back toward the city. By the time he arrives, snow has started to fall. He watches the flakes drift down, quietly picking the moment apart in his head. Same snow. Some people see it and feel joy. Others feel it like weight pressing down on something already heavy. That's how much environment shapes a person. More than most people realize. He's still thinking about it when his phone rings. It's Bo-mi. Her voice comes through bright and urgent. Woo-jin smiles and tells her he's just up ahead. She hears him and looks up. He spots her and waves. The moment she sees him, her whole face lights up. She shouts his name and runs, full speed, no hesitation, straight through the snow. The path is icy, but she's not watching where she steps. He's the only thing she's looking at. Standing there in the middle of it all, Woo-jin isn't sure if what he's feeling is happiness or something deeper. He can't quite tell the difference. Bo-mi skids to a stop in front of him, catching her breath in big gulps, asking where he disappeared to. Woo-jin keeps it casual. Just went to see someone he knows. Bo-mi's friends catch up behind her. One of them says he's really good looking. He smiles and nods, then reaches into his bag and pulls out what he'd prepared for her. Bo-mi takes it. Takoyaki! He tells her to try one while it's still warm. Winter fades quietly. Spring settles in, and the first day of university finally arrives. Woo-jin gets off at his stop and walks toward S University. On the way, he passes a bus stop plastered with a poster for the mock stock trading competition. Nothing in this world is ever free. Events dressed up as opportunities almost always have a different agenda hiding behind them. He finds the building, enters the classroom, and picks a seat right in the middle. Not the front, not the back. The most invisible row, the most ordinary choice. He barely sits down before someone walks over with a bright smile and starts introducing himself. It's the guy who's been active in the incoming students group chat for the business and management department, the one with the glasses. Woo-jin responds politely. Four Eyes nods along and immediately gets distracted by the class beauty across the room. More students filter in. Woo-jin feels something stir in his chest. This is it, his very first university class. Something he'd been looking forward to for a long time. The bell rings. The professor steps up to the front, gives a brief introduction, then throws out a question. What does everyone think management means? Woo-jin sees no one raise their hand. He doesn't raise his either. That's the normal thing to do. The professor scans the room and calls on a student in a blue top. Management is the method for running a business. A nod. Then he calls on another student in a white shirt. Management is the process of organizing and operating a business. The professor follows up. And what's the most important quality in a manager? Woo-jin thinks to himself. No choice. He has to respond. I think the most important quality is knowing how to seduce. The professor's expression shifts. That wasn't the answer he expected. The poster from the bus stop flashes through Woo-jin's mind. A perfect example. People sign up for the mock stock trading competition because of the prize money. That's bait. From where I'm standing, it's a system designed by securities firms to lure people in, specifically to identify hidden investment talent. After the competition, they fund the top performers. The goal is to get those students to come work for them someday. When people see ads like that, their brain enters a state close to hypnosis. Skilled managers know how to exploit that state, how to reach in and pull out a person's buried desires, to make them want to buy, to want to have, to want to own, to want to act. People call this marketing, but zoom out far enough, and you start to see that modern society itself is built on a chain of carefully designed seductions. The room goes silent the moment he finishes. Woo-jin raises his hand and looks at the professor. When does class actually start? The whole room gets the same thought at once. He kind of just taught the class. The professor gives him an approving look and calls it an excellent answer. The students applaud. Woo-jin feels quiet frustration creep in. Being ordinary is harder than he thought. He'll have to work at it more. The professor quiets the room and announces that the first real lesson is about to begin. Woo-jin's mood lifts immediately. The moment he'd been waiting for is finally here. Management, the professor explains, is built on 4 core processes: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Woo-jin already knows all of it. Every single point the professor covers is something he has encountered before, processed and stored away. The realization settles into mild disappointment. Then he notices the girl sitting beside him staring directly at him. His chest tightens. She must have noticed he's not really paying attention. He can't afford to get careless. The bell rings. The classroom empties. Woo-jin's mood rebounds almost immediately. The moment he's been dreaming about is here. He files out with the other students, moves through the building, and heads straight for the cafeteria. He picks up his food, finds a quiet corner, and digs in. Big bites. The kind that come with real anticipation. The food is fine, but something's off. He thinks about it. No MSG. He finds it genuinely baffling. MSG is safer than salt, so why go out of the way to leave it out? His phone buzzes before he can figure it out. A text from the captain, and he exchanges a couple of words, then a call comes right through. The captain says he's got a case he can't crack. Over the past few months, the captain had occasionally brought Woo-jin in on difficult cases. Every time they closed one, he made it worth Woo-jin's time. A good meal, or some spending money. Not a bad arrangement, all things considered. The captain says this one's complicated. Too complicated for the phone. He wants to meet in person. Woo-jin checks the class group chat. The professor just canceled the next period. Good timing. Woo-jin steps out through the campus gates and finds the captain already leaning against his car, waiting. The captain takes one look at him and says university suits him, that he looks even sharper now. He opens the passenger door. Woo-jin ducks in and pulls it shut. The captain digs around in the seat pocket behind him, searching for the case file. Woo-jin asks if they can go to the crime scene directly. The captain's hand stops moving. Woo-jin keeps his tone even. People operate based on what they've experienced. The more you've seen, the more useful you are. I want to see it in person. That's the only way to catch the details that actually matter. The captain considers it, then nods. He starts the car. They reach the scene without much delay. The captain looks up at the apartment building, gives Woo-jin a quick briefing. Stay close. Don't touch anything. 3rd floor. The officer standing post gets a nod from the captain. Woo-jin signals he's ready. They walk in. He sweeps the room slowly, every corner. His mind starts building the scenario. He pictures it. The killer knocks. The victim opens the door and walks back inside without suspecting anything. The moment the victim turns, the killer shuts the door behind them, drops the bag in their hand, draws a concealed blade, and crosses the room fast. One thrust. Then, without stopping, a hard slash across the throat. The cut opens. blood drops. The victim struggles upright through the pain, one hand pressed against his neck. The killer moves in again. The victim stumbles, falls, keeps fighting, clawing, trying to call out. The killer grabs him by the hair to hold him still, then covers his mouth and nose with the other hand, and waits until everything stops. Cause of death, asphyxiation. Every detail clicks into place. Woo-jin delivers his read of the scene. Visible stab wound on the right side of the neck, significant blood loss. This wasn't a crime of passion, this was planned. The captain looks impressed, says it in a way that sounds almost fond. That's his guy, reading a scene like this without even touching anything. Then he adds, no fingerprints were recovered. He pulls out a tablet, surveillance footage of the suspect. Woo-jin watches closely, pausing the playback more than once. The suspect and the victim clearly knew each other well. The plastic bag the suspect was carrying, from the shape of it, probably soju. But something doesn't line up. The suspect's height in the footage doesn't match the shoe size found at the scene. And the hair. It looks wrong, too neat, too still. Woo-jin is certain. The person they arrested is not the killer. The captain doesn't understand how he can be that sure. Woo-jin turns it back on him. If you didn't have doubts, you wouldn't have called me. The captain lets out a tired laugh. Says he can never hide anything from him. The whole thing feels off. The suspect claims he wasn't home that night, stayed at a motel, but the motel's cameras had a malfunction and the owner was drunk. No way to verify. And every piece of evidence at the scene points straight at him. Woo-jin shakes his head. The killer used a sashimi knife. Long, thin, precise. People kill with what they know. That's how you eliminate as many variables as possible. If this person works around water regularly, it explains why they rang the doorbell barehanded and left no fingerprints. Prolonged water exposure causes chronic eczema. The skin roughens. Fingerprints wear down, fade, sometimes disappear entirely. The strand of hair found at the scene might not be human. In fact, it's almost certainly not. The killer was wearing a wig. The whole point was to send the investigation in the wrong direction. Woo-jin crouches and points to the footprints on the floor. The weight is concentrated on the heel. Most people put more pressure on the ball of the foot. That means the killer was wearing shoes that were too big. Their toes couldn't reach the toe end, which is why the front of the print is so faint. He shifts and points to another impression. And there's a mark from the side of the shoe. The captain wonders if it came from a struggle, maybe a slip, feet twisting at an odd angle. Woo-jin dismisses it. This was a surprise attack, fast and efficient. If there had been any real physical struggle at that angle, we'd be looking at a torn ligament at minimum, probably a fracture. The killer used a shoe insert to change how they walked, which is why the footage shows them leaving with a completely normal gait. No stiffness, no favoring one side. After a kill like that, adrenaline floods the system. You don't just walk out that smooth. And the hair. Compare the entry footage to the exit footage. Slight rotation, slightly uneven. Hair doesn't shift like that in a few minutes on its own. That's a wig. Oversized shoes, a wig. Both there to build a false picture. He straightens up. The killer had a reason to take out both the victim and the man who's now in custody. They went after the victim first. Smaller frame, easier target. The suspect currently in custody is large, physically strong. The killer knew they couldn't take him directly, so they framed him instead. The captain groans and hits his own forehead. Says he moved too fast. He had just assumed the guy had dyed his hair, got led around the whole time. Walked straight into the trap. Woo-jin continues. Real killer. Around 170 centimeters. Around 30 years old. Knew both the victim and the suspect personally. He turns the motive over in his mind. Money? An old grudge? Something personal? What we can say with confidence, skilled with a sashimi knife, chronic eczema, and almost certainly educated to university level or above. Less education tends to mean more impulsive decisions. More education means more careful planning. The captain pulls out his phone and checks in with the team. The officer reports back. Forensics confirmed the hair found at the scene is synthetic. The captain stares at Woo-jin like he's watching something that shouldn't be possible. Woo-jin sketches out the likely height, build, and age range. Something clicks in the captain's expression. He calls the officer back immediately and tells them to bring in anyone working at a sashimi restaurant in the area. The case has a direction now. Woo-jin says goodbye and heads back toward campus. Halfway there, his phone rings again. My guy, love you bro. The captain's voice, warm and deeply unnecessary. Disgusting. Woo-jin wonders what the actual motive was. The captain tells him the rest is their problem now. Go to class. He hangs up, pockets the phone, and Buzz appears at his side with a wave. Woo-jin gives him a quick look and pulls up what he knows. Buzz introduced himself in the new student group chat, but those fine lines around his eyes suggest someone closer to 30 than 18. Buzz falls into step beside him and says Woo-jin was seriously impressive in the last class. Very professional. Then asks if he's joining the mock stock trading competition. Apparently half the department has already signed up. Woo-jin turns it over in his head. Not joining makes him stand out. Makes him look odd. But joining, what's the right way to participate and still look ordinary? He's working through it when his mind lands on the antlion. An antlion larva digs a pit in the sand and waits. When an ant falls in, the antlion doesn't tear it apart. It pierces the body, drains the fluid, and discards the empty shell. That logic doesn't stop at the insect world. In the real world, people sit in front of stock tickers and second-guess themselves for hours. But the second they finally commit, they go all in. They buy and they pray. The market doesn't care. When prices fall, some unravel into rage. Others fall apart entirely. Some start thinking thoughts they can't take back. The stock market is an antlion antlion, vast unseen draining ordinary investors one by one. By that logic, Woo-jin should be one of those ants. That's what ordinary looks like. But if he loses money, his family will worry, and that is not something he can allow. So no, he won't be the one getting drained. He'll be the one doing the draining, steady, patient, pulling value from others the same way the antlion does. Drop by drop, Buzz's voice pulls him back. He snaps out of it. He walks into the building alongside Buzz. The classroom is already buzzing about the competition. Someone lost. Someone gained. Woo-jin makes a quiet decision. He needs to start moving soon. The bell rings. The professor comes in. Woo-jin takes a slow breath and tries to pay attention. It doesn't help. Everything covered is something he already knows cold. His mind drifts to the drama series he watched the night before. Fitting in means being normal, so he lets his eyes go heavy and his head droop slightly, simulating a student who drifted off. An ordinary experience he has always wanted to try. The professor notices almost immediately and can't quite work out what to make of it. This kid is usually bursting at the seams in class, and now he's just asleep? Always the one asking questions, running ahead of the material, sharing insights that make you stop and reconsider. The professor figures maybe it's for the best. What he doesn't know is that Woo-jin is not actually asleep. He's wide awake and deeply aware of how hard it is to look average. Being ordinary, he concludes, is genuinely difficult work. Class ends. The professor announces homework. Turn it in on time. This is another first. An actual homework assignment, just like a regular student. He asks the professor what exactly is required. The professor blinks. A moment ago, this kid looked like he was in a coma. Woo-jin hears the assignment, then raises his hand. The professor braces himself. What follows is, effectively, a one-on-one debate. Does the law of diminishing marginal utility actually apply to people with unusually large appetites? The professor frowns, thinks it through, and explains, the feeling of fullness doesn't come from the stomach reaching capacity. It's hormonal. The body releases leptin. The students exchange glances. Is this a management class or a biology lecture? The professor keeps smiling through it, but internally he is not okay. He doesn't know most of what Woo-jin is talking about. Still, there's something unmistakable in the way Woo-jin engages. A real, restless hunger for knowledge that's hard to dismiss. The professor finds a polite excuse and makes his exit. He walks out like something is chasing him. The second he's gone, half the class swarms around Woo-jin, each one trying to recruit him for their group project. Out in the hallway, the professor quietly decides against inviting him to the research lab. Having Woo-jin around, he concludes, would not be helpful. It would be exhausting. Woo-jin gets home and opens his laptop. He logs into the mock stock trading competition page and enters a practice position. The stock goes up. He feels nothing. It drops. Still nothing. Even when it falls below his entry price, the stillness in him stays exactly where it is, which is how it should be. He tries anyway, running through the mental exercise, searching for a more ordinary emotional response. That's when he thinks of the other one, the one buried somewhere deeper, who knows everything Woo-jin overlooks, everything he doesn't register. They haven't surfaced in a while. Might be worth checking in. Come out. The next second, a slow, sharp smile appears in the mirror. Been a while. The other looks himself over. With a face like this, making it as a K-pop trainee would be effortless. He tosses the jacket aside, though honestly, this body probably couldn't carry K-pop trainee energy. Not quite. He finishes the thought and moves straight to the laptop, eyes moving fast across the trading dashboard. He takes in the numbers and his conclusion is immediate. He needs to step in. He cannot let Woo-jin fumble this. Back when this body was locked away, the other had run it most of the time. But things shifted. Woo-jin took the wheel and held it tighter with every passing month. If that continues, the other's awareness will fade out completely. Disappear. He has to make himself necessary. Prove there's still a reason for him to exist. He scans the board fast and finds what he's looking for. Market makers multiplying. Clear signs of a buyout forming underneath the surface. This is real life. There are no practice rounds. Every move is the real one. His fingers move fast across the keyboard. He uses real money. Buys into several stocks he likes the look of. The prices start climbing, almost immediately. Steady at first, then faster. Money has always moved through predators and prey. If you want a return, someone somewhere has to pay for it. That's true for every executive playing golf at noon, and for every employee working under them. Take the executive who spends his afternoons on the golf course, then spends his evenings chasing clients and closing deals, hustling to keep the payroll running, pushing himself to the limit just to bring in more. And at the same time, he hires people, lets them generate value on his behalf. That's the cycle. Money flows in, money flows out, and everyone feeds off everyone else. If you want to avoid risk, you accept an ordinary life. If you want the extraordinary, you accept the possibility of losing everything. But here's what most people miss. Everyone already has an employee. That employee is money itself. Money funds your free time, absorbs your fatigue, tells your brain to release endorphins and serotonin, produces the actual physical sensation of being happy. It eases psychological pressure, steadies the body's systems, and over time makes people sharper, calmer, more alive. It works on your mind the way a private masseuse works on your muscles. Quietly, consistently. Most people never recognize it for what it is. Put money to work the way you would manage a good employee, and it generates returns you could never produce on your own. When someone announces a gold strike in the mountains, and everyone rushes to dig, the smart move isn't to dig. It's to set up a stall at the entrance and sell pickaxes. Every miner needs one. Every miner's pickaxe eventually breaks. When it does, they come back. The seller doesn't dig. The seller just collects. No digging required. No risk of coming up empty. But even that only works if you spread it out. The question isn't just how to make money. The question is which door to walk it through. The other has already made his choice. The companies are holding it now. All he has to do is wait. The stocks climb again. The candlestick chart pulses on screen, chasing short-term gains, There is no better feeling. Crowds follow crowds. People move because others are moving. Most of them lose, the other doesn't. He has his own rhythm, his own read on what's real. He just has to resist the pull during the lows, stay cold, stay patient. The strategy is simple. Wait for panic. When everyone is selling and screaming and cutting their losses, he does nothing. He waits until the damage is done and the prices are on the floor. Then he moves. He picks up what they threw away. And when the market reverses, and it always does, everything he absorbed at the bottom becomes returns. Victory belongs to the one who held. Woo-jin could not have done this. The other knows it. Calm under pressure, precise in his read, decisive at the moment of entry. That's him, not the kid. This body still needs him. They complete each other. Next morning, Woo-jin packs his bag and heads out. He smiles and calls a goodbye to mom on the way through the door. He reaches campus without much delay and walks into the classroom. Class rep is at the center of a small crowd, holding court, announcing that he's up 19% in the competition. Then he notices Woo-jin across the room, and more specifically, notices that the class beauty has been gravitating toward him. He had already clocked it when she picked Woo-jin over him for the group assignment. His expression tightens. He breaks out of his circle and crosses the room with rehearsed casualness, asking how everyone's trades are doing. One guy scratches the back of his head and admits he didn't sign up. Says numbers just aren't his thing. The class beauty says she doesn't know enough about stocks to feel safe trying. Class rep leans in. Doesn't matter if you understand it. Just put something in and see what happens. Go with your gut. Woo-jin watches him and says nothing. He reads the expression on class rep's face, clocks the dynamic between him and the class beauty, and a clear picture begins to form. Then class rep turns and looks straight at him, asking about his trades. Woo-jin sees through it immediately. The smile is performed, not a trace of sincerity behind it. And just a moment ago, standing in front of the class beauty, there was something else in class rep's posture, a flicker of fear. Not panic, fear. The soft, instinctive kind that humans don't choose to feel. Men tend to be visual. They stare at someone who catches their eye. But the moment that person looks back, the gaze usually snaps away. Unless it's someone they genuinely want, then the reaction is different. Not just nerves. Something closer to dread. Woo-jin files it away. It traces back to evolution. Deep in the human wiring is a reflex left over from when groups had alphas. The most desirable people stayed close to whoever held power. Anyone who threatened that arrangement got removed, exiled, or worse. The consequence got written into survival. That fear never disappeared. It just went underground. So class rep, standing in front of the girl he wants, felt it without knowing he felt it. And now here he is, wearing that manufactured smile, asking about Woo-jin's trades. The motive is not curiosity. A person like class rep, someone who needs to be seen, who builds his identity around how others perceive him, doesn't come looking for genuine conversation. He came to perform. He wants a foil, someone to measure himself against in front of an audience. The goal is to make Woo-jin look small, which makes him look bigger. But Woo-jin is not the kind of person who gets used as a prop. The moment Woo-jin says, "I messed up," Marcus's eyes light up. He adds that he accidentally put real money into the mock stock trading competition. Marcus bursts out laughing, barely able to breathe, mocking him for making such a rookie mistake. Woo-jin pauses, then drops it. He made 30% returns. The laughter dies. The smirk freezes. He pulls out his phone and shows everyone the earnings screen. Even the class beauty leans in, telling him he's incredible. Naturally gifted, even at trading stocks. Woo-jin sighs internally, and just like that, he's standing out again. Marcus recovers and runs his eyes over Woo-jin from head to toe. Nothing special, cheap clothes, nothing worth noting. A 30% gain, by the way, is the maximum daily trading limit for any stock. Woo-jin knows exactly what Marcus is doing, scanning for something, anything, to reclaim the upper hand. Or maybe he just wants to figure out how Woo-jin made the money. It doesn't take long. Marcus can't help himself. He urgently asks to see which stock Woo-jin bought. Woo-jin holds the phone out, but loses his grip. It flies through the air. Marcus instinctively reaches for it, and misses. In that instant, Woo-jin's mind runs the numbers. Height, weight, velocity, angle of impact. It's going to shatter. He has to catch it. In one motion, he leaps to the exact landing point and catches it clean. The whole class stares. Someone gasps. Marcus looks flustered. He hurries over, apologizing. But the jump pulls up Woo-jin's shirt, and a strip of skin above his waist is exposed. Marcus spots it immediately and puts on a look of exaggerated shock, asking about the scars. Probably from back when he was running with the wrong crowd, right? He plays it up, shrinking back in fake fear, spinning the whole thing, turning the room against Woo-jin, all while wearing a grin that says he's loving every second of it. Woo-jin thinks to himself, so it's finally his turn to get bullied. He thinks back to the bullying scenes he used to watch on TV. Bullies always feel superior to their targets. When they do it, the brain's reward system kicks in, flooding them with dopamine, a false sense of pleasure. Bullying isn't just venting. Biologically speaking, it's tied to pleasure. An instinct. That's Marcus to a T. Always showing off without a second thought. Right now, he's lost in it, completely drunk on himself. And Woo-jin is sure this won't be the last of it. Marcus will keep coming back for more. He knows how this works. The bullies are always the majority. The ones getting bullied are always the few. Getting bullied isn't ordinary. And if Woo-jin wants an ordinary life, he has to be on the majority side. That's the only way to stop standing out. That's how you fit in. Woo-jin puts on a warm smile and suggests they all go out for drinks. His treat works like a charm. Everyone immediately shifts to his side. And pulling the class beauty over is easy. She's the one Marcus actually cares about. Then he turns to Marcus, drops his guard, throws out a compliment or two. Just like that, Marcus walks right into the setup without even realizing it. Once he's in, he becomes the patient on Woo-jin's operating table. Whatever Marcus is hiding, whatever game he's playing, Woo-jin will take him apart piece by piece, like a dissection, until every ugly truth is laid out for everyone to see. That evening, the group heads to the restaurant Marcus picked. While everyone is chatting, Woo-jin slips away and calls Lee Hai-rim. She happens to be free, and says she wants to come join. He hangs up and heads back to the private room. The conversation inside is loud and lively. He barely sits down before Marcus turns on him, being passive-aggressive about how Woo-jin keeps dozing off in class lately, probably staying up all night trading stocks, right? Woo-jin keeps his head down and eats, not even a glance. Marcus immediately switches to concerned friend mode, earnestly telling him to sell, acting confused about why he even picked that stock to begin with. Woo-jin acts casual about it. He just did his research and got lucky. No big deal. The others are impressed. Marcus's expression sours instantly. He can't find an opening to strike back, so he swallows it. He grabs the bottle, forces out a stiff smile, and says even a lucky mistake deserves a toast, and pours everyone a glass. Woo-jin watches him quietly taking notes, hands planted on his hips, like a cobra puffing up to intimidate. It's a defensive display, meant to signal to everyone around him that he's still in control. It says everything. Marcus is, at his core, someone who can't function without an audience, and always ready to attack. He even angles his watch just so, drawing every eye to his wrist, feeding that ego. He fills every glass. Everyone raises them. Cheers. Woo-jin feels a small rush of anticipation. They always say once you grow up you start to appreciate alcohol, start to actually enjoy it, but the taste hits him and nothing. Is he just physically grown but still a kid inside? He can't tell the difference. Not being able to enjoy alcohol. That's not exactly ordinary. Right as he's sulking about it, his phone buzzes. He hangs up and tells the group a friend is nearby. Would it be okay if she stopped by? Not that it matters what they say. Lee Hai-rim is coming either way. Her entrance is where the real show begins. Everyone nods eagerly. Someone excitedly guesses it's a girl. A few minutes later, the door swings open. Sure enough, Lee Hai-rim. She strolls in, cool as ever, gives the room a small nod. Sorry to intrude. Everyone practically trips over themselves to introduce themselves. Lee Hai-rim nods politely, then raises an eyebrow at the soju. Woo-jin explains, Marcus picked the place. Marcus lights up and wastes no time, pouring on the compliments, telling her she's gorgeous, then pivots, playfully asking if the two of them are dating. Lee Hai-rim gives him a once-over, the kind of look that makes it clear she's already unimpressed. Just friends, she says flatly. Woo-jin knows her well. She can't stand people who perform loudly, packaging themselves in flashy wrapping. Then she lifts her wrist to check the time, and just like that, the watch on her wrist catches the light. Marcus's expression stiffens. He instinctively slides his own watch up under his sleeve. Then Marcus makes a point of saying what a perfect couple they'd make, trying to stir something up, or just remind everyone he's in the room. Either way, it only makes Lee Hai-rim more annoyed. Both of them shake their heads at the same time. No explanation needed. Woo-jin turns to the easygoing guy and asks if he plays games. The easygoing guy blinks. How did he know? Woo-jin follows up. He must be good at diving too, right? That does it. The easygoing guy lights up and starts talking non-stop. Then Woo-jin turns to the class beauty, and the two fall into easy conversation. Everyone is happily talking, showing off, enjoying the night, except Marcus, who has somehow ended up completely ignored, left out without anyone even noticing. For someone like Marcus, someone who feeds on attention and would rather die than lose face, being left out like this is unbearable. He has to do something. Sure enough, he doesn't last long. Marcus puts on a serious face and asks the easygoing guy which stock he bought. The easygoing guy scratches his head, embarrassed. He can't remember. Marcus pounces. He mocks the easygoing guy, launches into a lecture, and takes a jab at Woo-jin while he's at it. Even accidents can make money apparently if you're Woo-jin. Woo-jin lets it go. The rational mind fades. Emotion and instinct take over. Alcohol doesn't make people strange. It just strips them down. And what's left is exactly who a person really is. When Marcus finds out the easygoing guy wears a bracelet for good luck, he's on it immediately, lecturing him about the importance of effort, telling him luck doesn't come from a bracelet, you have to go chase it. The whole speech is just another way to tear someone down and feel tall. He needs the world revolving around him. That's the only way he knows how to feel like he matters. What Marcus doesn't see is that he's already walked into it, because sitting right across from him is someone he can't afford to cross, and hasn't spared a single thought. Lee Hai-rim raises her hand calmly. Her nails, she explains, are stained with garden balsam juice. Apparently it helps you end up with your first love. By your logic, she says to Marcus, does that make me an idiot too? Woo-jin knows her well. Lee Hai-rim lives entirely in her own world. She doesn't care how others feel, and she certainly doesn't care what they think. So whoever is reckless enough to come at her, she will hit back, and she will not hold back. The next second, she takes him apart without blinking. Wearing knockoffs just to look like you matter, is that what you call self-respect? Marcus's self-defense instincts kick in. He's going to lose it right here in front of everyone. But getting angry at someone Lee Hai-rim doesn't respect will only make her push harder. Sure enough, she keeps going. Marcus completely loses it, and what comes out of his mouth gets worse. He blames her for ruining the whole night, demanding she take responsibility. Before he can finish, Lee Hai-rim moves. She reaches into her bag, pulls out a stack of bills and drops them on the table. Her eyes say everything her words don't. The only thing that ruined this night is you. You and your constant need to tear people down. This is for everyone else. Consider it an apology for showing up. Then she turns to Woo-jin, and her voice softens. Just a fraction. I can't stay. She doesn't wait for an answer. She walks out. Marcus immediately turns to Woo-jin. Who is she? The only daughter of the SH Mythos Group's chairman. Marcus can't believe it. How does Woo-jin even know someone like that? The class beauty stares wide-eyed. No wonder she had that air about her. She was the real thing all along. Everyone snaps snaps back to reality, and every eye lands on Marcus. And just like that, every page of Marcus's book is open. The arrogance, the vanity, the cruelty, and that paper-thin self-esteem, all of it laid flat on the table for everyone to read. Marcus squirms in his seat and excuses himself. Outside, he calls after Lehigh Rim. "Hey, stop!" He confronts her, rage written all over his face, demanding to know who she thinks she is. Lehigh Rim turns around. The look she gives him is pure disgust. Marcus is shaking with anger, pointing at her, saying things that have no business coming out of anyone's mouth. Lehigh Rim's bodyguard steps forward quickly, politely asking if there's a problem. One look at the bodyguard, and Marcus deflates completely. He turns and practically sprints away. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Bo-mi is lounging on her bed, phone in hand, texting her friends. The conversation drifts to Woo-jin. One of her friends wants him to tutor her. Bo-mi knows Woo-jin has a gift for teaching, but she doesn't say yes right away. Just tells her she'll ask. She's been thinking about it. Next time he comes home, she wants to figure out what he actually wants. Help him do all the things he never got to do, or never had the chance to. Then a worry crosses her mind. Woo-jin hasn't exactly grown up around classmates. What if someone takes advantage of him? She decides then and there she wouldn't let it slide. What she doesn't know is that things like that barely register as problems for him. The next day, University Library. Woo-jin sets 3 thick midterm research reports on the table. His group members stare at the stack in disbelief. He smiles, picks up the first report, and shows them how he reads. He uses photographic memory, scanning pages like a camera, storing everything in his head. By the time he puts it down, he has the entire thing memorized. His group members just look at each other. Why do some people get to be built like that? Woo-jin excuses himself to use the restroom. He'll have a summary of the key points sent to them by the time he gets back. He leaves behind a group of people with absolutely nothing to say. Woo-jin steps out of the library and heads through the corridor toward the restroom. Marcus is there. Woo-jin walks up first, smiling. "The rest of my group's inside. You're welcome to come work on assignments with us." Marcus's eyes flicker. He mutters some excuse and walks away quickly. Woo-jin watches him go. Marcus has no idea he was played. Everything is back to ordinary. Perfect. Just then a couple passes by, talking about getting jjangmyeon. The word alone is enough to set Woo-jin off. He can't stop thinking about it, even while in the restroom. Then it hits him. The last time a case wrapped up, Captain had made a point of promising to treat him to jjangmyeon at the station. Sweet and sour pork, pan-fried dumplings, the whole spread. He said Woo-jin could eat as much as he wanted. At that same moment, outside the police station, the same promise crosses Captain's mind. He and the officer are leaning against the wall, smoking. Captain pulls a straight face and starts doing his best impression of Woo-jin, analyzing the officer in front of him with mock seriousness. The officer can't keep a straight face. "That's nothing like him, and you got everything wrong." He laughs and calls it a total copycat fail. Kind of embarrassing, honestly, a detective captain who can't even do that right. The laughter doesn't even fade before something happens. Captain moves immediately, the officer right behind him. He mutters through gritted teeth. Every last one of them is getting caught. He yanks the car door open, tells the officer to get in, and they're gone, speeding toward the scene. The forensics team is already there when they arrive, working the scene. The officer at the door lets them in. The two of them step inside carefully. They've barely reached the top of the stairs when they spot the forensics lead photographing something. Captain walks over. He asks what's in the frame. One look at the screen and the words leave his face entirely. The forensics lead shakes his head. "Whoever did this, they're not someone you want to meet." Captain's expression hardens. Victim ID confirmed, 21 years old, the family's son. His first instinct, this is personal. He brings the officer inside. There's always this impossible tension at scenes like this. He wants to comfort the family, but the only thing that will actually help them is catching whoever did this. That has to come first. The victim's father is barely holding together, pleading desperately for justice. The victim's mother is on the floor, looking like she could collapse any second. Captain sees there's nothing more to get from the family right now and steps outside. He asks the forensics lead to get the autopsy report over as fast as possible. The forensics lead nods, then adds quietly that the method was disturbingly clean. Whoever this is, they've done this before. Right then, his phone rings. He checks the screen. It's Woo-jin, and just like that he remembers. He promised to treat him to jjangmyeon at the station today. When the call connects, Woo-jin is walking down the library stairs, straight to the point. "Are you free today? Jjangmyeon." Captain's voice drops with guilt. He apologizes. Woo-jin hears it immediately. He's at a scene. "Can I come take a look?" Captain's whole tone changes. His voice goes up about 8 notes. "Of course you can. Once this case closes, I'll take you somewhere top tier, best beef in the city. Double portions to make up for the jjangmyeon. Eating the same thing too often leads to diminishing marginal utility. That's why variety matters." Captain doesn't respond. Woo-jin drops the theory and gets direct. "I want jjangmyeon, sweet and sour pork, and pan-fried dumplings. At the station." Captain pauses, then laughs. "That's really all you want?" The officer happens to walk back over. Captain claps a hand over the phone and hisses, "Get to University Library. Pick him up," before he changes his order. Then, warm as ever into the phone, "The officer's on his way. Won't be long. Don't bother. I'll find it myself." He hangs up and finds the scene in no time. The officer at the entrance stares at him. "We literally sent someone to get you." Woo-jin thinks, leaving school in a police car where his classmates can see, not exactly ordinary. Finding this place on your own from nothing, that's not ordinary either. the officer points out. The officer leads him inside and asks, for fun, if Woo-jin can guess what he ate today. Woo-jin gets it in about 1 second flat and grins, telling him he forgot to brush his teeth. The officer laughs and waves him through. Inside, Captain tells the officer to stay with the victim's father. Woo-jin turns to Captain. Where's the body? Forensics already took it for the autopsy. Send me the photos when you have them. A forensics tech walks over and asks who Woo-jin is, reminding Captain that unauthorized personnel can't just walk through a crime scene. Captain laughs it off quickly, explaining that this is the guy he's mentioned. Incredible with profiling and analysis. He ushers the tech away and asks him to keep it quiet. Captain comes back and apologizes. Woo-jin just smiles. That's what happens to ordinary people. I get it. Now get me those crime scene photos. The sooner the better. Captain warns him it's graphic before handing over the phone. Woo-jin opens the photos and zooms in slowly. He goes through everything. The wounds, the scene, especially the cross-sections on the arms and legs. One by one, he rules things out. The cut edges are rough. Rules out a cutting machine. The killer most likely used a saw. Something in one photo catches his eye. He flags it for Captain immediately. Forensics hasn't confirmed yet, but those look like thread fibers. Probably from a cotton work glove, the kind used for handling meat. He flips to another photo. His gaze settles on the cooler box. It's too clean. Unnaturally clean. Woo-jin puts the phone down. Do the ground floor residents usually keep the main door locked? Always, which makes it even more unsettling that the killer got in so easily. Woo-jin shakes his head and points at the perimeter wall. Nothing unsettling about it. The killer climbed over. The marks are obvious. The killer didn't just use their hands and feet. They dragged their upper body over the top. Wide dust displacement. Height around 170 centimeters. Less athletic than average. Possibly older. Captain considers it, then nods. Who's inside right now? I want to go in. The mother was taken to the hospital. Just the father. He makes a point of going through the rules. Don't touch anything, keep a low profile, and whatever happens, do not upset the victim's father. He's barely holding on. Woo-jin gives him a look. He's being particularly long-winded today. Inside, Woo-jin moves through the apartment. The living room has a trophy shelf packed with trophies and certificates. Every photo features the victim's father, not a single one with family. He cares more about his own image and past glories. Deeply narcissistic. There's also an oversized refrigerator, a dishwasher, a ceramic dining table. The apartment is ordinary, but these things stick out like they don't belong here. Woo-jin walks straight up to the victim's father. Any recent enemies? Anyone with a grudge against you? The father shakes his head immediately, voice tight with denial. He holds eye contact, as if trying to make Woo-jin believe him. The eyes look sincere, but his body is pressed hard into the sofa, completely still, like he's anchoring himself in place. A textbook freeze response. The harder someone tries to hide something, the louder it gets. Woo-jin watches him. Think harder. You have enemies. Then he drops it deliberately. The butcher. The moment the word lands, the father's body goes rigid. Captain and the officer exchange a look, but stay quiet. The father leans in slightly, instinctive, involuntary, then pulls back like he's been caught. Woo-jin says it again. The butcher. The father starts shaking. Something comes out between his teeth that sounds like a curse. He snaps, grabs the cup and hurls it at the floor. Everyone flinches. Calm down. Work with us. He's trembling, but he's certain the butcher killed his son. Woo-jin presses him on the history between them. I need to put together every possible suspect. Build the picture piece by piece. The faster I can do that, the faster we catch whoever did this, and get your son justice. The father buries his face in both hands. Woo-jin recognizes it immediately. When the emotion gets too big to face, the mind hides. It's an involuntary defense, a way of disappearing from something that can't be processed. After a long pause, the father finally speaks through tears. The butcher had been claiming that his son had violated the butcher's daughter. He had threatened to kill his son in revenge. The father paid a significant amount to settle it privately, and the words come faster and harder the more he talks. Captain steps in to calm him down, assuring him the police will follow every lead. Then he turns to the officer. Bring the butcher in for questioning. Now. Woo-jin opens the balcony door and steps out, looking for what's been missed. Captain follows. How did you know about the butcher? The butcher didn't do it. Woo-jin says it plainly. I said it to provoke him, to get him to point us somewhere, so the real killer thinks we're heading the wrong way. Woo-jin works through it carefully. The killer is bold enough to dismember the body and deliver it back to the victim's home. But behind that boldness is someone extremely precise. And even the most precise people leave things behind. Doesn't something feel off? Captain offers a theory that even a systematic criminal can slip up in the execution. Woo-jin pushes back. This killer is too careful for accidental slips. Everything off pattern was left there on purpose. Look at the cuts. The edges are rougher than machine cuts. The killer used a saw, deliberately mimicking the look of machine work. If the killer were the butcher, someone who spends every day handling meat and keeping things clean, there is no way they accidentally leave behind thread fibers. Hygiene and detail are everything in that profession. He keeps going. Decomposition follows fixed stages. Fresh, bloated, decaying, late stage. The timeline should be straightforward, but the killer anticipated this and planted ice packs to throw off the timing. The inconsistencies aren't mistakes, they're directions. The killer is steering us, showing us exactly what they want us to see. Captain stares at him. Are you a genius? He catches Woo-jin's expression immediately and backtracks. It was a joke, obviously. They're both just normal people. Very normal. Back on track. The killer left those clues deliberately. Pull the dashcam footage and surveillance from the surrounding area. Every trail leads to the butcher. By design. Look at the cooler box again. Captain pulls up the photo and goes over it carefully. Nothing stands out. That's exactly the problem. Not a single scratch on it. That's wrong. Captain frowns. A brand new cooler. Does that mean something specific? Woo-jin turns it around. How was the original cooler removed from the apartment? Forensics would have taken. Standard procedure, anything suspicious comes back to the station. So how did the killer bring the replacement in? A cooler alone is heavy. Add ice packs and body parts, we're talking serious weight. You can't move something like that without leaving marks. But this box is spotless. And one more thing. The killer went this far to frame the butcher. What's the motive? Right then, an officer comes in with a report. Surveillance at the intersection near a convenience store, picked up a suspicious vehicle. Someone in a delivery uniform briefly got out, stayed for a few minutes, then left in a hurry. Woo-jin processes it immediately. More misdirection. The killer wants the investigation looking at outsiders, specifically someone connected to a delivery service. Captain turns to him. Can you narrow it down to a suspect? Then quickly adds, no pressure, if not, they still don't have much. Woo-jin nods. Yes, the suspect has a grudge against both the butcher and the victim, and the victim's father knows who they are. All they have to do is ask him. They go back inside. Woo-jin scans the victim's father the moment he walks in. The top of his foot is visibly swollen. He takes in the full picture and confirms what he's seeing. As the father reaches for his glass, Woo-jin steps forward and gently takes hold of his wrist. Your hands are cold. You've probably been urinating more than usual lately. Your steps have no weight to them and your fingertips are slightly swollen. These are diabetic complications. Drinking water right now without guidance will only strain your kidneys further. The father wrenches his hand away. What does any of that have to do with anything? Woo-jin doesn't react to the outburst. Your career used to go well. At some point, things changed. The father takes it as mockery, demanding to know what this has to do with his son's murder. Woo-jin pivots directly back to the case. Your son had a blunt force injury to the head. He was struck with a sharp, heavy object and killed before the body was dismembered. This level of brutality doesn't come from nowhere. It takes a genuine, deep hatred, the kind that builds over time. The butcher agreed to settle privately even after finding out what happened to his daughter. That tells you everything. He values practical outcomes over revenge. Someone like that doesn't commit an act like this. Simply put, the real killer is someone else. Someone with a personal score to settle and the will to follow through. The word hatred hits the father like a physical blow. He shakes his head over and over. He's never had enemies like that. Never in his life. Woo-jin watches the panic take over. His tone becomes firm. Think. The killer is likely still free right now, possibly already planning to run. The sooner you give us something, the sooner we can catch them and get your son justice. The father presses a hand against his forehead, muttering to himself. Then, after a long pause, he looks up. There was something 4 years ago.